Most people assume gray hair is just a calendar on your head, a simple marker of passing time, or a roll of the genetic dice. But that is a dangerous oversimplification. The reality is that your hair follicles are distinct, metabolically active organs, and when they suddenly lose their color, they are often acting as a biological distress signal, a dashboard warning light flashing red to tell you that something critical inside your body is failing. Stop looking at that silver strand as a cosmetic annoyance you need to hide. Instead, look at it as a piece of medical data you need to decode. If your body is prioritizing survival, it shuts down non essential functions first. And pigment production is one of the first things to go when your thyroid, your heart, or your nutrient levels are in crisis. Today, we are not talking about vanity. We are talking about using your gray hair as a diagnostic tool to save your health. We are going to walk through exactly why this happens. We often ignore these signs, buying hair dye instead of booking a blood test because we've been told it's just aging. But what if that sudden salt and pepper shift is actually a scream for help from your immune system or your cardiovascular system? In this video, we are going to explore 6 specific health problems your gray hair is trying to reveal to you. By the end of this, you won't just look at your hair differently, you will have a roadmap to fix the underlying issues, potentially reclaiming your energy and vitality in the process. Before we dive into the science, I want to welcome you to our community. If you are tired of generic health advice and want to understand the why behind your body's changes, consider subscribing. We focus on the deep dive health tips that most doctors don't have time to explain. And I'd love to know, just to get us started, where are you watching from today? Drop your city or country in the comments below. It is always amazing to see how connected we all are. Now, let's get straight to the first major culprit. It's the one everyone suspects, but almost no one understands the actual biology behind it. You might think stress just makes you feel tired, but your gray hair is telling you that your body is in a state of stem cell exhaustion. For years, scientists debated whether stress actually caused graying or if it was just a myth. That debate ended recently with a landmark study published in the journal Nature by researchers at Harvard University. They discovered a mechanism that is honestly quite terrifying. They found that when you are under chronic stress, your sympathetic nervous system, the system responsible for your fight or flight response, pumps out a neurotransmitter called norepinephrine. This chemical doesn't just make your heart race, it travels directly to the hair follicle. Here is the fascinating and frightening part. The stem cells that create pigment, called melanocytes, have receptors for this norepinephrine. When the chemical hits them, it causes these stem cells to overactivate. Imagine a bank run where everyone withdraws their money at once. The bank collapses. That is what happens in your follicle. The stress causes all the pigment producing stem cells to activate, differentiate, and migrate away all at once. They deplete the reserve. Once those stem cells are gone, they cannot be replaced. The ink for your hair runs dry permanently. So if you look in the mirror and see a sudden onset of white hair, your body is telling you that your nervous system is stuck in the on position and it is burning through your cellular resources. It's a sign of systemic burnout. The takeaway here isn't just to chill out, because we know that's not always possible. It is to actively counterbalance that norepinephrine spike. You need to engage the parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and digest mode. This means physically interrupting the stress response. A practical swap is to trade 15 minutes of evening news, which spikes your anxiety, for 15 minutes of deep diaphragmatic breathing or guided relaxation. You have to signal to your stem cells that the emergency is over, so they stop depleting themselves. Moving on to the second warning sign, we need to look at the engine room of your metabolism. Your gray hair might be flagging a significant issue with your thyroid gland, specifically hypothyroidism. Your thyroid hormones, T3 and T4, are the master regulators of your body's speed. They tell your cells how fast to work. Producing melanin, the pigment that gives your hair its color, is a complex, energy, expensive job. It requires the cellular machinery to be running at full capacity. When your thyroid is underactive, it's like a power brownout in a factory. The lights dim, the conveyor belts slow down, and production errors start to happen. Research published in the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology and Metabolism has shown that thyroid hormones directly influence the hair follicle cycle. When these hormone levels drop, the hair follicles can remain in the resting phase for too long, or the pigment cells can shut down entirely because they aren't receiving the metabolic signal to keep working. This often manifests not just as gray hair, but as hair that is dry, brittle, and perhaps thinning. If you are noticing that your hair feels like straw and is losing its color, and perhaps you are also feeling unusually cold or tired, do not dismiss it as just getting old. This is a metabolic red flag. The actionable advice here is to demand a full thyroid panel from your doctor. Many standard tests only look at TSH, but you need to see the full picture: T3, T4, and thyroid antibodies. The beautiful thing about this point is that thyroid issues are often highly correctable. With the right medication or dietary changes to support thyroid function, you can restore the metabolic power to those follicles, improving the quality of the hair significantly. Let's transition to the third point, which is a critical nutritional warning. Your hair is incredibly sensitive to what you eat, and more specifically, to what you absorb. A rapidly graying head of hair can be a direct symptom of a vitamin B12 deficiency. This is particularly common as we age because our stomach acid levels tend to drop, making it harder to extract B12 from proteins. Why does this matter for your hair? Well, vitamin B12 is essential for DNA synthesis. Your hair cells are some of the fastest dividing cells in the body. They are constantly building new material. If you lack B12, the DNA replication process glitches. It's like trying to build a house without the blueprints. Eventually, you stop knowing where to put the bricks. A pivotal study famously published in the Archives of Dermatology, now part of the JAMA network, documented cases where premature graying was reversed after treating B12 deficiency. That is a rare word in this field, reversed. While we can't always promise that white hair will turn dark again, this specific deficiency is one of the few instances where repigmentation is medically documented. If you are a vegetarian, if you take antacids for heartburn, or if you just generally eat a low protein diet, you are at high risk. Your body is telling you it is starving for this specific nutrient. The takeaway is simple but powerful. Look at your diet. Are you getting enough eggs, fish, and poultry? If absorption is the issue, discuss a sublingual methylcobalamin supplement with your healthcare provider. This form of B12 bypasses the stomach and goes straight into the bloodstream. It's a small tweak that feeds the DNA synthesis in your hair roots. If you are finding these insights helpful and you are starting to see the connection between your internal health and your external appearance, please give this video a thumbs up. It helps us spread this science-backed message to more people who deserve to know the truth about their bodies. Now, we need to address the fourth point, and I need you to listen closely to this one because the stakes are higher than just hair color. There is mounting evidence that premature graying is linked to coronary artery disease. This sounds like a leap, doesn't it? But consider this. The biological age of your hair often reflects the biological age of your blood vessels. Both your hair follicles and your arteries are susceptible to the same enemy, oxidative stress and inflammation. When the body is under a high load of oxidative stress, it damages the DNA in the pigment cells, turning them white. Simultaneously, that same stress damages the endothelial lining of your arteries, leading to plaque buildup. A significant study presented at the European Society of Cardiology Annual Congress investigated this link. The researchers, led by Dr. Irini Samuel, examined hundreds of men and found that those with a high hair whitening score, meaning they went gray early and extensively, had a 5-fold increased risk of coronary artery disease compared to those without premature gray hair. This held true even when they adjusted for age and other cardiovascular risk factors. Think of your gray hair as the canary in the coal mine. It is an external marker of an internal aging process that is happening in your cardiovascular system. If you are going gray young or very rapidly, your body is telling you that your antioxidant defenses are overwhelmed. The actionable takeaway here is to take your heart health seriously immediately. Don't wait for chest pain. Check your blood pressure, check your cholesterol, and most importantly, look at your inflammatory markers like C-reactive protein. Adopt a heart protective lifestyle rich in antioxidants from berries, greens, and healthy fats to dampen that oxidative fire that is bleaching your hair and stiffening your arteries. Point number 5 takes us into the realm of the immune system, where the body begins to fight itself. If you notice your gray hair appearing in patches, distinct coin-sized circles of white, or if it affects your eyebrows or lashes, this might be a sign of an autoimmune condition like vitiligo or alopecia areata. In these scenarios, your immune system has lost its ability to distinguish self from intruder. It identifies the melanocytes, the cells that make your hair color, as foreign enemies and launches an attack to destroy them. A comprehensive review in the Journal of the American Academy of Dermatology confirmed that premature graying is significantly more common in individuals with a predisposition to autoimmune diseases. This is your body raising a flag that the immune system is hyperactive and misguided. It's like a security guard attacking the residents of the building he is supposed to protect. If you see this patchy pattern, it is crucial to look for other autoimmune symptoms, joint pain, fatigue, skin rashes, or digestive issues. The actionable advice is to see a dermatologist or rheumatologist. While autoimmune conditions are complex, early intervention can often stop the immune system from causing further damage. Managing the underlying inflammation can sometimes allow the pigment cells to recover, or at least prevent the condition from progressing to other organs. Finally, we arrive at the 6th warning sign, which is about the environment you are exposing your body to. Your gray hair might be a direct result of toxin accumulation, specifically from smoking or environmental pollutants. You might think you know the risks of smoking, but the visual evidence is often the most compelling. Smokers are significantly more likely to go gray prematurely than non-smokers. A study published in the Indian Dermatology Online Journal found a strong, statistically significant association between smoking and early onset of gray hair. The reason is brutal. Smoking floods your body with free radicals. Free radicals are unstable molecules that tear through your cells, stealing electrons and damaging DNA. When you smoke, or when you are exposed to heavy pollution, you are creating a massive amount of oxidative stress. This constricts the tiny blood vessels in your scalp, starving the hair follicles of oxygen and nutrients, while the free radicals directly attack the melanin producing machinery. Imagine leaving a metal tool out in the rain. It rusts. That is oxidation. Gray hair in this context is essentially biological rust. Your body is telling you that its antioxidant reserves are depleted and it cannot protect your cells from the chemical onslaught. The takeaway is the most straightforward of all. If you smoke, quitting is the single best anti-aging treatment in existence. But even if you don't, you need to bolster your defenses. Increase your intake of vitamin C and E, which act as rust proofing for your cells. They neutralize those free radicals before they can bleach your hair. So let's take a step back and look at the picture we painted. We have moved far beyond the idea that gray hair is just a nuisance. We now know it is a sophisticated signal. It's telling you about your stress hormones, your thyroid function, your nutrient absorption, your heart health, your immune balance, and your toxic load. This knowledge changes everything. It means that when you intervene, when you fix your B12, manage your stress, or improve your diet, you aren't just potentially slowing down the graying process. You are actively extending your health span. You are fixing the engine, not just painting over the scratch on the bumper. I want you to feel empowered by this. You are not a passive victim of your genetics. You have levers you can pull. You can breathe to calm your stem cells. You can eat to feed your DNA. You can exercise to protect your heart and your hair. I'm curious, and I want to hear from you in the comments, which of these 6 points hit home for you? Was it the stress connection, the B12, or maybe the heart health link that you hadn't heard before? Let me know below. If this deep dive gave you a new perspective on your health, please like this video and subscribe. We are building a community here that values truth and science over quick fixes, and I'd love for you to be a part of it. Your health is worth fighting for, so let's keep learning and fighting together. Thanks for watching, and remember, listen to your body, even when it speaks in whispers of silver. I'll see you in the next video.